best students, and welcome to the first ever episode of the Bluejay Bugle. We start off today by wishing the following people happy birthday: Ella Monarchy, Drew Koval, JC Woolsey, Hallie Bickett, Ainsley Hotovy, Carter Keith, Mr. Zimmerman, and last but certainly not least, Mr. Palace. With prom coming up, please sign up with Mrs. Erin Collins if you would help out with concessions on January 14th. This is for post-prom. There will also be a junior post-prom meeting for parents interested in helping out January 18th at 7 p.m. in the West Cafeteria at the high school. Now that we've read through the announcements for the week, let's go check out some students for our first ever interviews. To get a basic knowledge of what an art portfolio really is, we're going to talk to the pro, Mr. Knott.
Hi.
What are the basic requirements to be in an art portfolio?
Art portfolio. So this is like the upper echelon of the art stuff that Seward offers. And requirements, it's a little bit different for everybody. Most of the time the requirements are people have taken most of the art classes that are already offered. Sometimes that they can't work that into their schedule, but at that point I have usually known the kid for 4 years. And the biggest requirement I have is I have to have doers, right? So I have to have people that work independently, get stuff done, and then get it done at a higher level, and then can maybe like critically think about some of that stuff, change that stuff, tweak that stuff. So you just need people that grind and work.
All right, and what is your favorite part about having these students in the portfolio?
The things I enjoy about portfolio students is we get a wide variety. We get people doing video stuff, we get people drawing and painting, pottery people, fly tying stuff, right? So we're really open to a lot of different things, and then I get to see different things. And then, you know, failure is a big part of it too. Not everything that they touch is gonna, despite what your mommy told you, not everything you make is great. It's good to have those discussions too, and everybody grows and hopefully gets better. It's also really nice before you graduate to have a period where you can take a deep breath, work on exactly what you want to work on without being told what to do, when to do it, and how, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of nice. They get to kind of take a deep breath and do what they want for once in their life.
All right, thanks, Mr. Knott.
Yep.
Moving on to our first student interview, we have Luke Sievers, a senior. Luke, what is that? So Luke, what is your portfolio over?
I'm doing photography.
And how long have you been doing that for?
I actually came out of the womb with a camera, so a while.
Oh, and what would you say you capture mostly?
I do portraits mostly, and I just like to bring out each person's personality in the picture. It's all in the eyes, so as long as you can make their eyes look good and reach out, then the whole picture looks good.
And who do you usually take the pictures of?
Well, in this class period, I usually go to the library. There's always people in there, in and out, so I just grab some people if they volunteer and take their pictures.
Can we see some of your work?
Sure. Okay, so this is my week 1. So this week I'm doing traditional portrait photography, so it's more focused on the subject and less on the background. I really like this picture just because it shows a lot of detail in her face and brings out her characters.
Okay, Luke, I kind of want you to explain this piece a little further for me.
Oh yeah, sure. So this is like one of my favorite pictures right now. It really brings out, like, he's really good with his facial expressions, so it just really brings out his character. I don't know, it's pretty amazing.
Okay, and what are you planning on doing for the next week?
Next week I'm doing environmental portraits, so instead of more focused on the subject, it's gonna be more focused on their surroundings.
Thank you, Luke. Now we move on to Emily Porter, also a senior. Tell me what you're drawing right now.
I'm drawing this kind of like surreal moon drawing. It has like a tree.
Nice. And what would you say your current inspiration for it was, or why did you want to draw it?
I really like nature and just like views in general.
And what was your progress like?
First I determined like the proportions and the scaling of the drawing, and then I figured out where everything was going to be placed and then started working on that.
And when did you say that you first started getting into art?
First quarter of my freshman year, I had art appreciation with Mr. Knott, and that made me want to pursue art more. And I've taken like art appreciation, 2D design, digital photography, and now I'm taking my portfolio.
Thank you, Emily. Mm-hmm. Now we move on to Kayla Knott, who's doing something a little different. Kaylin, what are you working on?
I'm doing fly tying, so that is like an art form of tying fishing lures, quote unquote, for like trout or salmon that need something that replicates a bug in a way. So people use a lot of in-depth feathers, exclusive stuff. People really freak out about the canary feathers or whatever they can get their hands on, and this is all tied into the art of fly tying. All right, here is just a board of some of my materials. They're labeled so I don't mix them up. But you can see there's a bunch of different things, like different parts of the feathers. There's like rooster necks here. There's saddle hackle, that's a part in a rooster. They have flanks from ducks that are in the chest area. There's a bunch of different feathers all used for different things, so we like to incorporate as much materials as we can.
Okay, and what is your favorite thing that you've made so far?
I really like tying these kinds of flies. These are dry flies and typically float on top of the water. They're meant to represent like a bug that got caught on the water and is dying, so.
All right, thank you, Kaylin. Moving on, we have Miss Marissa Hurley. Can you explain some of your drawings that you've been doing?
I've been kind of sticking with ink art for lately. I've been using a lot of contrast, and I'm trying to do less focus in the middle and trying to kind of spread out. I enjoy kind of doing a little bit of a chaotic art that's not exactly pretty, but it's not exactly like horror based. It's just a little bit of everything. My favorite thing about this portfolio is that I can just put my headphones on and just go at it and do whatever I choose to with my art. I don't have to stick to a specific like regimen of I need to get this done within this amount of days. It's essentially I can do what I would like to do.
All right, thanks, Marissa. Last but certainly not least, Miss Bailey Broadwell. So, how long have you been doing art?
Well, ever since I can remember, I've been kind of doing art, but I really started getting into it when I was like 10 or 11, that age. Right now, well, I'm working on some graphite portraits, which portraits are kind of like my guilty pleasure.
And how long have you been working on this current piece for?
Well, I just started it like a few minutes ago, so yeah, just kind of mapping out the proportions and. I just started that, bruh.
All right, I think we're done for this week.
Oh. Stay tuned next time for another episode of the Bluejay Bugle.